You know that feeling, right? That sour, churning, upset stomach. And then you pop an antacid and, almost like magic, the whole thing just settles down. But have you ever really stopped to wonder what's going on in there? What is that little pill actually doing? Well, I got curious, and the answer is way cooler than you might think. Let's get into it. It turns out it's not magic at all, it's chemistry. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden harmony. We're talking about acids, bases, and this amazing chemical reaction that keeps so much of our world in balance: neutralization. All right, so to figure out the solution, we've got to understand the problem first. And in the case of our unhappy stomach, the main culprit is a little too much acid. So, what even is an acid? When you boil it all down, it comes to this. An acid is any substance that lets go of these tiny, positively charged hydrogen ions. We call them H+ ions, whenever it's dissolved in water. These little guys are the secret sauce, the source code for everything we call acidic. And these little ions show up in ways you see and taste all the time. That sharp, sour kick you get from a lemon or from vinegar, yep, that's the H+ ions doing their thing. They're reactive, too. They can react with some metals and bubble up hydrogen gas. Or if you drop an eggshell into an acid, you'll see it fizz away, creating carbon dioxide. And in a science class, you'd see them turn blue litmus paper red, and since they're charged ions floating around, they can even make water conduct electricity. Now, here's a super important catch. Just because a molecule has hydrogen in it doesn't automatically make it an acid. I mean, look at methane, CH4. It's loaded with hydrogen, but it holds on to them. It doesn't release H+ ions in water. Hydrochloric acid, HCl, on the other hand, it lets that H+ ion go free. So remember, it's not about having hydrogen, it's all about the ability to release that H+ ion. That's the secret handshake to get into the acid club. Okay, so if too much acid is our problem, what's the fix? Well, every good story needs a hero to counter the villain. So it's time to meet the chemical opposite of an acid, the base. A base is pretty much the acid's polar opposite. Instead of releasing a positive hydrogen ion, a base releases a negative hydroxide ion. That's OH negative. And this little ion is the key to all its power. And just as you'd expect, the profile of a base is a mirror image of an acid's. They taste bitter, not sour, and you know how they feel kind of slippery, like soap? That's because bases are actually dissolving the tiny proteins on your skin. Wild, right? They don't react with metals or eggshells, and in the lab, they do the opposite trick with litmus paper, turning red paper blue. Okay, now for a cool little plot twist. Take a look at ammonia, NH3. You don't see an OH anywhere in that formula, do you? So how can it be a base? Well, it's clever. When ammonia dissolves, it actually rips a hydrogen atom off a nearby water molecule, an H2O. And what's left behind? You got it, a hydroxide ion, OH-. So it creates the very thing that makes it a base. All right, the stage is set. We have our acid with its H+ ions, we have our base with its OH- ions. So what happens when they finally meet? This is where the magic happens. The reaction itself is just so simple, so perfect. You've got that positive H+ from the acid and that negative OH- from the base. Opposites attract, right? Well, they're powerfully drawn to each other, they combine, and what do you get? H2O, just plain, neutral, harmless water. So let's picture this journey. You start with a solution that's just full of those H+ ions, making it acidic. Then you start adding the base. The OH- ions immediately go on a search and destroy mission for the H+ ions, pairing up and making water. The solution gets less and less acidic until you hit that perfect moment, the tipping point. That's when every single H+ ion has found an OH- partner. The solution is perfectly neutral. If you keep going, you'll just have extra OH- ions, making the whole thing basic. And get this isn't some quiet, polite little get-together. When an acid and a base neutralize each other, they release a burst of energy as heat. We actually call it neutralization heat. So how can we actually find that perfect tipping point in a lab? It's easy. You just follow the heat. As you add the base to the acid, you can watch the temperature go up and up and up until it hits its absolute maximum temperature. And that peak, that's it. That's the exact moment of neutralization, when the reaction is happening at full blast. After that, as you add more of the cooler base, the temperature just starts to drop again. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's cool lab stuff. But this reaction isn't just stuck in a beaker. This fundamental dance between acid and base is happening all around you,
all the time, in your daily life.
Seriously, once you know what to look for, you see it everywhere. That nasty bee sting, the venom, is acidic. Dabbing it with some basic ammonia water neutralizes the acid and helps with the pain. Farmers add basic lime powder to their fields to neutralize soil that's gotten too acidic. Even that fishy smell on your hands after cooking, those are basic compounds. Wash your hands with acidic lemon juice and poof, the smell is neutralized. And yep, your toothpaste is basic, and it's neutralizing the acid that plaque creates in your mouth.
Which of course brings us right back to where we started, our upset stomach. That little antacid pill is nothing more than a mild base, designed specifically to go into your stomach, find all that excess acid, and neutralize it, turning it into harmless water and salt. The magic was just perfect, targeted chemistry all along.
So from our own bodies to the food we grow, this constant balancing act, this give and take between acids and bases is a fundamental force of nature. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe this elegant balance of opposites is one of the most important hidden laws that really governs our world.